Hey guys, Chris here with Cohesive Friendship Unit. I am joined by Jeremy,
Hi.
Brian,
What's going on?
and Jake.
Hello.
And we're going to be talking about a minor victory in the loot box business that's been going on. But first, we love your subs, we love your comments, and we love your likes. So leave them with us on your way out. Dutch Gambling Authority calls out loot boxes. 4 games are currently in violation of the Better Gaming Act. So we're going to dig into that. But first, I have a trivia question for you, Brian.
Yes.
How many dollars did loot boxes gain or make in 2017?
I'm going to say at least 15.
What was that?
You have something on President Trump. You've said it's possible.
Yeah.
$30 billion.
$30 billion. That was my next guess.
That's a lot. Okay. So the Dutch Gambling Authority investigated 10 popular games in the Netherlands, according to the country's gambling laws, and they found 4 to be in violation, and they have 8 weeks to clean up their act, specifically, I believe, citing getting a gambling license, or I guess they could make other changes to no longer be in violation. Those 4 games were not actually revealed, but according to the public news agency NOS, somebody would like to say that those 4 games are Dota 2, FIFA 18, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and Rocket League. So, Jeremy, does that sum it up?
In terms of the games that we believe are in violation?
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
So they, for whatever reason, they only studied 10 games, and those were the only 4 of the 10 that they found to be currently in violation of the law. So there could be more. At least those 4 are in violation.
Yeah,
or at least we suspect those are the 4. There are 4. We think those are them.
And they did say that all game companies these will be rooted out. You know, more games will be found and come to the same consequences. This isn't like we're doing 10 and we're done. This is kind of ongoing at this point. But I would say this is like a nice minor.
So Chris,
victory.
I don't want to preempt you, but I think, and then there's findings, which is that all games will have to remove loot box elements that are found to be addiction sensitive, which would be things such as like a reward noise when you open a box, a flashy animation, the ability to open a whole bunch of boxes in a row, the ability to bring things to market, and they will also have to, and this goes for all games with loot boxes, they'll also have to demonstrate that they're making an effort to avoid targeting vulnerable populations, which sounds to me like they'll probably have to make them not accessible to children. Or less accessible to children. So I think that's probably the more significant part of the findings so far, unless it winds up being that they find a lot of titles to be in violation of the existing law.
But I think this is the direction that we wanted to head. I think this is good, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
I would agree.
Yep.
Yep.
For cheesy.
So, yeah, I mean, this is, I think our first episode ever was on the possibility of loot boxes. We definitely covered it many, many times, but it was usually focused on Star Wars Battlefront 2, which...
And we all know how well that went.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, so here's the thing. I personally only played 2 of these 4 possible, maybe not confirmed games, those being PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and Rocket League. And these were the 2 cases, personally, where I said that loot boxes don't matter. So... I don't want to be a hypocrite, but
I gotta back you up on that one.
Is this going too far? Is this going too
PUBG
far?
is like the least interesting crates to open. The stuff always sucks. There's no sound. There's nothing, and you can't buy them.
Sound.
You could argue that it affects your gameplay because you change colors, but I don't consider it pay to win.
There's that's exactly right. So I think there's 2 sets of issues. I think originally kind of community is mad over so-called pay-to-win issues. That, I think, is a separate problem, which really isn't being addressed here. What this commission was questioning was, does this constitute gambling? Which doesn't really have anything to do with whether or not it makes the game shit or not shit. So there's no question that it is still gambling. You can still take it out of the game and sell it for real world cash.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the important thing, is that there's a real world exchange to it. Like
I see.
if there was no exchange,
Then they would be fine.
it would literally just be a cosmetic item.
So is that PUBG's problem or is that Steam's problem?
Both.
Probably player unknown, because Steam is just facilitating it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably there. It's probably more PUBG's problem than Steam, because if they went after Steam, Steam would just say talk to Bluehole. Or
Yeah, no one makes
whatever.
you have shit that you can sell from your inventory on Steam.
And I assume Rocket League is the same case because Rocket League is like the most inoffensive.
Yeah,
it's literally
it's
just
just
cosmetics
skins
that
and stuff.
don't change anything.
Well, and
So yeah, it probably goes back to like value added.
with regards to nothing being done about play to win, I don't think that anything needs to be done about pay to win, because people don't like playing pay to win games.
Yeah, but if you get people who are addicted, then it becomes a problem.
Right.
Then you're preying on the whales.
Yeah, but
I mean, that's not
true.
right.
That's true. I mean, you're
Yeah.
not going to get mass market appeal, but you are getting.
But
Well,
at the
what
same
about-
time,
what
we
about-
have Pagovian taxes for cigarettes and alcohol.
Well, what about like mobile games and stuff like that? Because there's a lot of those that are literally just, this is a scratch ticket mobile game. Like,
Yeah, there's-
I think their
scratch-
time is
virtual
coming.
Scratch tickets, like. I don't know.
I
I'd be
think-
going after that stuff first. Like, it's a step in the right direction, but like I don't think that the loot boxes in PUBG are really that offensive. The resale thing is, but like, there's a lot of the stuff that they're talking about, like flashing lights and like incentivize. You know. you
Yeah,
just-
anything to get the dopamine.
Yeah, those are all dopamine.
right.
releasing.
PUBG, you click the button, you get a crate, and the thrill of it is that some people have decided that, like, if everybody tomorrow decided that nothing on PUBG was worth anything, none of the clothes or anything like that, then it wouldn't be an issue. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's the
Right.
issue's not with the game, the issue's with how those items are used. I think honestly what you'll see is they'll start pulling back on that aspect of it.
And this is like a blanket statement where it affects adults just as much as children, but at the same time, it's so hard to prevent you can't like. How many times have you been like, oh, you must be 18 to enter the site? Click, like, done. You know, like
How many times, Chris? How many times?
many times.
What kind of sites have those warnings?
There's
Oh,
some sites
well,
for
you know,
children, there's some
ESRB
sites for
is
dads.
that-
Video game
ESRB
sites.
says that you have to be 18 to watch
Is that
Emery.
Neopets?
No, it's IGN trailers
No,
for
no,
sure.
dude,
Oh,
we're
okay,
looking
okay.
at we're
It's
looking at
IGN
sites for
trailers.
dads.
It's IGN trailers. But no, I think this is realistically probably, if you want to actually keep it out of the hands of kids and not just put an arbitrary number, an arbitrary click from getting through to the elements, I think this is the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like straight up, at least in the Netherlands, it sounds like the kind of straight up gambling component is going to be banned, because the real issue they took was games where you could sell things from the games that you won at loot boxes for cash. So it kind of sounds like that entire aspect is going to have to go, at least for the Netherlands.
At least for the Netherlands, yeah.
Well, maybe at least in the with regards to PUBG, like that might not be that bad of a thing, because one of their biggest problems is bots, and those are people that are farming BP to get the crates so that they can sell shit on Steam.
Yep.
Like there is they're not a legitimate market, but there is a significant market for that. So
And
if
that would help a lot with pay to win too, because if you can't finance your games on the back of whales because they can't, I guess that's kind of microtransactions. As
well,
opposed
pay to win, yeah, pay to win is kind of a different animal. But I think that in terms of which one is more nefarious, loot boxes are going to hit. Because it's a game that's fun and there's a gambling element to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the whole point of the game is the gambling element. You're getting a broader spectrum of people who, might have a gambling issue or a compulsion towards something like that. Rather than saying we're just going to go after the people that have a serious problem. I mean, either way, it's a major dick move. I fucking hate loot boxes and pay to win shit like that. I think that kind of goes without saying. I don't think there's anybody that really enjoys them. But
Yeah.
you know, I think that it's at the very least it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and like personally, I feel that if there was, this is just an example, but for PUBG, we'll say, if I could either buy and obviously it would have to be one or the other. You couldn't have the option, but if I could either buy like a skirt for $10 straight up from the developer and support the developer because that's whatever, and not buy it from some random Steam user, or I could open 4 loot boxes with keys with that $10. Hell yeah, I'm gonna want to buy the skirt straight up. Like,
Right, and you can probably charge more for it, guarantee.
Yeah.
Saying you give us this amount, like, and you'll get people who are like,
You'll get
"Okay, I
people-
like this enough that I'll throw you a couple.
Right.
exactly, you'll get more. I mean, you're not gonna make as much money because it's kind of been proven at this point, but you're still gonna make money if you just do microtransactions.
And you're not going to be having people saying, "Oh, you know, you're selling out and
You're
game's a
exploiting
piece of
children,
shit."
and okay, so do you guys think that this is if this happened in the U.S. across all states, because Hawaii is actually doing a slightly different law that's just saying that you're going to ban the sale of games with loot boxes to those under 21, but this Netherlands law in particular, which covers games that you wouldn't expect like PUBG and Rocket League, do you think that if this were to come to the U.S., you guys would be happy with it?
No, because and the reason for that is comprehensive. It's going to be some sort of. It's going to be left up to the states in the U.S. to do what they want with regulating loot boxes, and you're going to have some states like Nevada that make a lot of money off of gambling. They're not going to want to turn that aspect of it off. You'll have other states that won't want it as much.
But I think Chris is saying, like, if this
No,
became the law of the land, would you?
Right, here's what I'm saying. That's enough incentive for publishers to put out 2 separate games and say, this one is only for sale in Nevada or wherever gambling is legalized, and this one is for sale in states that have tighter gambling restrictions. It's what you see with pretty much everything. With regulation like that, nothing is going to get done about it on a congressional level, and unless the video game industry decides to regulate it itself, which they're not going to do because they're making too much money off of this, you're not going to see a unified solution. They're just going to go spot fix. You know, the Netherlands banned gaming, or the Netherlands banned gambling. The Netherlands banned gaming. There's no fun allowed here anymore. That's not what Dutch people sound like, I know.
Also,
I think that even if it was, I mean, I'd like to see this come to the U.S., but even if it was just rolled out to a couple states, I think it may be enough to just kind of get publishers to the point where it's like, it's not even worth like
Right, it
making
would
multiple
depend
sets
on-
of games. Because like I noticed with PUBG, I don't know if this was in, like, if it's in the base game, but on the test server last time we played, you can only open like 5 or 10 crates, and then it says you're all done.
Yeah, it says yeah.
So I don't know if they just rolled that out like recently in response to this new ruling, or if that was always in PUBG. But
I don't think it was, because I remember blazing through some crates.
I think it was only because you could. I think it's just I thought of it as a way to combat AFK players, where you can only open like 7 crates a week instead of like 100.
okay, well, regardless, I think if enough big states rolled this out, there's a chance that
Yeah,
publishers would be convinced to just take it out and not bother enabling by region.
If the Northeast and like California,
Right.
that would be enough to say that it's not enough of a market. But you know, it has to be unified. That's the thing, because the game publishers have no incentive to stop doing this. They're making a lot of money off.
Right.
30 billion.
30 billion.
That's like almost Hollywood
Yeah.
in a year.
Just
I'll
on
just-
the loot boxes.
I'll just add, so I think Brian is right in terms of his I think you guys are all right in terms of your assessment of how this would be likely to go down in the U.S. I'm saying, suppose this became the law of the land. Suppose that this was passed by Congress and this was the new law in the U.S. I still wouldn't be totally happy with it. I do think there are significant issues that this doesn't address. I think it's a good step in the right direction. But I think there's still a significant issue with microtransactions aimed at kids that are individually small, and knuckleheaded kids might be blowing that money fast. That are, it's still kind of a predatory practice, I think, that I would want to see addressed somehow. But I think this is at least a good start.
All right. Anyone else have anything to say? Or we rapping?
I'm good.
We good? All right, Brian.
The rapper.
Let Parappa the Rappa know.
Let him know what.
What's
Let
what?
him
What-
know to
What
make
drugs?
sure to leave your collection of rolling pins is, and make that subscribe button, as well as bell up in the right hand corner. That little ringy dingy will let you know about all the latest goings on here at the Cohesive Friendship Unit. As soon as we post a new video, you'll know immediately. That's all I got for tonight, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Brian. We will see you guys next time.